Welcome to @Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Let's get a refresh on the top Arizona news of the week.
Arizona schools are keeping a close eye on the federal budget process. Educators say one program they can't survive without: subsidized school lunches. Cronkite News reporter Natalie Tarangioli talked to one family that relies on this federal program that may be in danger of renewal.
Arizona schools have been serving up lunches to needy kids with support from the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. Those regulations are set to expire on April 28th, and if not renewed, it could have a huge impact on roughly 500,000 children in Arizona, including one family in Queen Creek.
Unless you tell them, none of those kids are aware. As far as they're concerned, you're just like the rest of them.
Brittany Wiltbank doesn't feel any different from the other kids at her high school, even though her family relies on reduced school lunches. With 5 other siblings in the Queen Creek School District, eating affordably is very important.
We have reduced lunch, so they're only 40 cents, which is, it's amazing. So for us, we get an entire lunch and it doesn't cost us hardly anything.
Queen Creek claims to have the 3rd highest median income in Maricopa County at just under $90,000. But that doesn't mean everyone can afford to pay for lunch.
In Queen Creek, you think about this, we're about 27%. You still have 3 out of 10 kids that rely on the program.
April Wiltbank knows firsthand how expensive it is for her large family to eat. At full price, lunch for her 6 children would cost $18 a day, $360 per month. Instead, all children eat for a total of just $2.40 per day, and they have no complaints.
It's not something that I'm really ashamed of because I think we have such a big family. It's kind of something that people would just expect.
Carol Weekly works with Arizona's congressional delegation to break down how many school meals are served and the costs and challenges associated with them.
The big elephant in the room, or kind of what's been talked about, there's been a couple of bills out there talking about block granting child nutrition programs, and that would be absolutely detrimental. Horrible.
The federal government reimburses schools about $3 for each meal that meets USDA guidelines. Last year, the Queen Creek School District sold nearly 500,000 lunches, which translated to more than $1 million back to the district.
We're not quite sure what's going to happen. Right now, there is a bill in the Senate to roll it into the Farm Bill, and hopefully that's a good thing, so that way we can continue to operate without any disruption.
I look at my family, I look at my husband and our children like we're going to do whatever we have to do to take care of our family.
The school lunch program is part of a larger package of agricultural legislation before Congress. President Trump has proposed a 21% cut in the Department of Agriculture's budget, leaving supporters of the Child Nutrition Reauthorization Program fearful of real cuts. Live in the Media Center, Natalie Tarangioli, Cronkite News.
University of Arizona researchers studied groups of women over the course of 3 years and found that women of a certain age who divorced actually became healthier.
Cronkite News reporter Mija Maslar went to Tucson to find out why.
I have to take care of myself a little bit more. I have to be healthier because it's just me.
Kelly Johnson took up hiking after her divorce 3 years ago. Along with being more active, the 56-year-old says she now has time to do more things she enjoys.
I just got back into the things I liked to do before. Ride my bike and go take a walk and walk the dogs. It wasn't a chore to do, it was something I wanted to do, and I had much more time to do it.
Dr. Randa Kutab is a lead author of a University of Arizona study that says divorced women ages 50 to 79 improve their health habits compared to married women in the same age range. The study was based on data from the National Women's Health Initiative.
We found that women who became divorced actually lost a little weight, were more physically active, were eating a little bit healthier, and also lost a little bit of weight around their middle as well.
Researchers say weight loss isn't attributed to the emotions triggered by divorce. Instead, women deliberately set out to lead healthier lives.
Maybe what's happening with the women that are getting divorced is they're finding that ability to put their needs first. And likewise, on the flip side, the married women, I think, sometimes have a hard time doing that.
And Johnson is living it firsthand.
I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now. So I decided, that was something too, I think, that I didn't feel like doing anything when you're depressed. But once it was done, I was like, hey, it's me again.
In Tucson, Mija Maslar, Cronkite News.
Q-Top does have some advice for women who are married or divorced. Married women actually need to monitor their health to combat weight gain.
And women who are divorcing should make positive lifestyle changes and know they have to work hard to maintain those changes.
In an emerging trend, consumers are now taking chlorophyll supplements in hopes to make them healthier. Cronkite News reporter Ashley Holcombe talked to a local medical expert on whether they work.
The ingredient that keeps trees, plants, and grass green and healthy may also keep you healthy. Jasmine Hidalgo says chlorophyll supplements have helped her since she started taking them 4 months ago. She suffers from anemia.
Because I've gone to the doctors after, and so now my levels are fine. So yeah, now what I'm doing is working.
Chlorophyll supplements are sold in stores across the valley. Some users believe it can improve heart health or even prevent cancer. However, a Mayo Clinic doctor says these claims haven't been scientifically confirmed.
Many people propose it as being cancer-fighting and a detox product as well, but I don't know that that's been scientifically proven as just an extrapolation of what chlorophyll does when you eat the chlorophyll-rich foods.
Chlorophyll supplements can be ingested in 2 different ways: by taking it in its pill form or simply dropping its liquid form into water. You simply drop, stir, and drink.
Dr. Milstein explains there may be other reasons for Hidalgo's improved anemia levels.
If you're drinking it in a large glass of water, maybe you're more hydrated, and that's where you're getting the benefit from. Or maybe your body is processing the other things you eat better because you're adding in that nutrient-rich supplement.
Because I noticed I stopped taking naps throughout the day, which that was also a problem before. I used to just take long naps in the middle of the day. And so now I don't have to, and I'm not tired anymore. So I think it's a combination of both of it, or both of the chlorophyll with the vitamin.
Dr. Milstein encourages people to eat leafy greens to get the vitamins, but doesn't see any harm in taking the supplement. In Tempe, Ashley Holcombe, Cronkite News.
And we now know hundreds of contractors have put in bids to build President Trump's proposed border wall, which would include the entire length of the Arizona-Mexico border. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Negrete discovered some bids intend to be more than just a barrier to entry. Lauren joins us now from our Los Angeles bureau.
Hundreds of those bids are expected to go forward, and see, the government is expected to pick 10 of the companies, and they're going to build prototypes that'll go along the border.
Among those companies waiting to hear back is Concrete Contractors Interstate, who hopes to exploit their home court advantage.
We think we got a product that the request is calling out for. Nobody has come close to a solution better than ours.
Baumgartner says his project is cost-effective and safer to build. His design includes a patent-pending Icon wall system. They start constructing pieces on their sides before using cranes to position the panels.
We don't require posts. We use an all-concrete horizontal buttress that's poured last at the bottom of the panel that connects the panel to the footing. It's an extremely effective way to build a wall. U.S.
Customs and Border Protection tells Cronkite News in an email that they will build prototypes in San Diego. That's because of accessibility to the border and the ability to evaluate the wall as part of a larger existing infrastructure system.
With the submission of the border wall designs, Baumgartner faced a lot of concerns on the political level, with the fact that over half his employees are Hispanic. He assured them that he looks at it only as a business deal and a great opportunity for his company.
Russell is the builder, but the artist is his wife, Jo. She's determined to make sure their product isn't just a barrier, but rather beautiful too. It includes glass artwork, and each piece is hand-cut and painted.
I would use the colors of the topography and the landscaping. Every region can have its own story on the border wall.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection anticipate that construction to begin in June. In Los Angeles, Lauren Negrete, Cronkite News.
Alabama Congressman Mike Rogers has introduced a bill that would pay for President Trump's border wall by taxing remittances, the money sent home by immigrants working in the U.S. Cronkite News reporter Katie Berry traveled to central Mexico to talk to families who rely on the money to survive.
I'm so mad. The Sierra Gorda, we found entire villages mostly dependent on money from family members in the United States. In towns like Pinzquintla, residents say there are very few opportunities for work. The vibrant city of Querétaro, a region known for economic growth and opportunity. Many people live here comfortably. But travel 3 hours north into the rugged mountains of the Sierra Gorda, and it's a much different story. Most families depend on their relatives who are working in the U.S.
I miss him. Anyone would miss their partner, the person they live with and love.
Monica Castillo's husband picks oranges in Florida. She relies on that money to survive. The money is used for food, construction, among other purposes. In this village of only 500 people, residents like Marisela Zúñiga Ramirez say that generations have left for the U.S.
Because over there they pay a little better, and here, well, not that much.
Relatives in the U.S. wire part of their paychecks to support their families here in Mexico.
Are you ready?
President Donald Trump has threatened to tax remittances to pay for his border wall. That would mean less money for the mothers who travel hours to this pet supply store in Jalpan de Cera, where they can pick up cash and dog food. Marta Sandoval makes the 4-hour round trip every 2 weeks. Her husband works in construction and wires money to this store.
The day he comes back, my son won't know him. It's not going to be the same.
Her husband has been gone for 2 years. The former First Lady of Mexico says many families are separated by the necessity to earn a living.
Most Mexicans have an immigrant, a close relative like I do in the United States, and the majority are undocumented.
Zavala is expected to run for president next year. From the politician to the people, all are concerned about the future. Families like the Castillos wait in limbo, worried that new policies in the U.S. could threaten their loved ones and their livelihood. According to the Bank of Mexico, this past year, remittances were the largest source of foreign income in Mexico, surpassing oil and tourism. In the broadcast center, Katie Berry, Cronkite News.
More than 1 in 4 adults in Arizona say they personally know someone who has taken a prescription painkiller not prescribed to them. That's according to a new poll. Investigative reporter Lily Altavina breaks down the numbers.
In a follow-up to Hooked RX, our 30-minute documentary on the prescription drug crisis in Arizona, the Morrison Institute and Cronkite News conducted a poll representative of the state's population and demographics. They asked Arizonans about their own experience with prescription opioids. And many Arizonans believe these drugs are easy to get. Almost 60% say that it's either very easy or somewhat easy to access prescription painkillers. Nearly 11% said they got a prescription from an opioid from more than one healthcare provider. That would include drugs like hydrocodone or OxyContin. And ongoing pain is also a problem for almost 30% of adults in Arizona. How they deal with that pain varies. 35.8% said they use prescription painkillers. 37.5% answered other. That could mean marijuana, physical therapy, massage, or a number of other alternatives. Now you've heard the numbers, I asked people in the trenches of this battle against prescription opioid abuse about what these stats mean.
And then one day, when our older son was a teenager, we got a phone call from a woman that was a parent of one of his friends.
It's the phone call every parent fears.
Your son is potentially going to overdose. And And we're just like, you must have called the wrong people. This that has not going on here. I mean, not your son is smoking, your son is, we saw your son with drugs. It's like your son is going to overdose.
A wake-up call for Kim Humphrey, a father who never thought his son Sean would struggle with drug addiction, let alone both of his sons.
It was his friends, parents had left some prescription medication, Percocet, in their medicine cabinet. And the next thing you know, they just thought it would be fun to try it.
In Arizona, 41.8% of adults know someone who has been addicted to prescription painkillers.
There's so much of it out there. They're so powerful, and we're still working on making sure people understand it's not aspirin. It's not to be toyed with.
The numbers show that prescription drug addiction has massive reach in Arizona. And officials say it's up to the state's residents to fight it.
Really, the best way is to dispose of the medication. Take it to a drop box.
Humphrey wants more people to start having frank discussions about drug abuse.
We lost about 58,000 people in the Vietnam War. We're losing more than that every year from drug overdoses in the United States.
Officials want to emphasize how important it is to dispose of prescription drugs when you're done with them. Don't flush them. That's bad for the water supply. There are drop boxes across the state. From the Broadcast Center, Lily Altavina, Cronkite News.
Some schools have students build volcanoes for science class, but this event is allowing students to build solar-powered go-karts. Reporter Amanda Luberto tells us how living in the Valley of the Sun is helping students do more.
When the green flag waves, students start their cart with the help of the sun.
It's an opportunity to get out of the classroom, away from the textbook, and have a hands-on experience that's really fun.
All high schools in Arizona are invited to participate in the Racing the Sun event, but schools that have STEM-based programs seem to be the ones who sign up, Bruce Wright says. In its 5 years, more than 500 students have participated.
High school students work all school year to build solar-powered go-karts. When they get here to practice day, they still might or might not work.
Morgan Smith is a senior at Palo Verde High Magnet School in Tucson. He's the lead for this year's go-kart team and says the program through the University of Arizona Tech Park is helping him determine his career path.
They kind of introduced me to the engineering world, and for a career, even if I don't make the Navy a career choice, after that, I will still want to do engineering.
Because of the engineering and robotics program at his high school, Morgan plans to join the nuclear engineering program with the U.S. Navy. But for now, solar strips on go-karts is his idea of fun. In Tucson, Amanda Luberto, Cronkite News.
This year, 12 different schools are participating, and the final race is on April 29th.
United Airlines is under fire tonight after a video of a passenger being dragged off one of its planes last night went viral. But a report out of an Arizona university today claims airline passengers may actually have experienced the best service in the 27 years a study has been done. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Fingert is live in our Washington bureau with more on what researchers at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University discovered. Tyler?
This report today from Embry-Riddle University in Prescott and Wichita State University says airlines have improved across the board in key measures of passenger treatment. But you wouldn't know it from looking at video last night in Chicago on United Airlines flight 3411.
Tonight, this video is going viral. Fellow passengers were filming as a man was forcibly pulled off of a United Airlines flight in Chicago.
Oh my God! My God!
The flight was overbooked, but when no one volunteered to give up their seat, that's when things got ugly and one passenger was dragged off. While scenes like that may give flyers pause, a new report says the airline industry is actually doing better, with fewer delayed flights and complaints.
It's going in the right direction, but they're still complaining about the same things.
The airline quality rating out today gives airlines the best scores in the 27 years that the study has been done.
The airlines as a whole have done better in the 4 major categories. And because they're doing slightly better, it's taken the score up to its highest position over time.
The rating for each airline takes into account mishandled bags, denied boardings, customer complaints, and on-time arrivals, all an improvement since last year.
It's good news for travelers because you have the potential to have a more satisfying flight. Being there on time, getting there with your bag is more likely.
Topping this year's report, Alaska Airlines, followed by Delta Airlines and Virgin America. Near the bottom of the 10 carriers ranked, United. The big picture, flights are getting better, but it only takes one bad flight.
It's generally better, but better is a perception, and the most recent flight experience that a consumer has is their perception.
Many passengers on that United Airlines flight will have quite the story to tell. The airline says they are investigating, and late today, United Airlines' CEO called the entire event upsetting. Live tonight in Washington, Tyler Fingert, Cronkite News.
Some after-school programs involve math tutoring, extracurricular activities, or club meetings. But this one after-school class teaches kids how to skateboard. Cronkite reporter Cassidy McDonald explains why these kids are learning to shred.
For students at Larry C. Kennedy School, when the final bell rings on Friday afternoons, it means it's time for some free skateboarding lessons.
Skate After School is a nonprofit organization founded about 3 or 4 years ago. We provide after-school skateboard instruction to kids in some of Phoenix's lower income or underserved communities, where after-school programs are sometimes harder to come by or harder to access, and we bring all the gear and all the equipment so the kids don't need to have anything.
Timothy Ward and the 2 other co-founders of the program grew up skateboarding and say the inspiration behind the program came from their passion for the hobby.
We all feel like our lives have been benefited a lot from our experience skateboarding. All the friends we've made, the places we've traveled, every big major decision we've made in our lives has somehow been based around skateboarding.
They say you can do it and stuff. The tricks, ollies, and going down the stairs.
The program relies on volunteers ages 16 and up to help instruct students on the proper techniques. Volunteer Josh Aberhard said he was inspired to volunteer by the positive role models and friends he made at a skateboarding camp he attended as a child.
I've been skateboarding for 12 years. Good time for them to get their energy out. They're in school. They're not just sitting around all day. They have an outlet to go and release their energy. They start off not knowing, and then at the end, they learn how to skate. Even if they don't continue doing it, they still learn how to do something and take that same drive and persistence.
It's fun. Hanging out with your friends, skating, learning more moves.
The Skate After School program has received wide support from community members and local businesses like Cowtown, who encourage their customers and employees to donate gently used skateboards, decks, helmets, and more for the students that use the program after school.
Cowtown's one of those skate shops that's really about the skate community, so why not try to help the skate community out with something like Skate After School. That's a really cool program.
Currently, the program is in 8 Phoenix area schools, and they work with an estimated 250 kids per week.
I think it's really important for kids to have something to do after school. I know the importance of having something to focus on or something that I really want to progress at.
In the future, Skate After School hopes to continue to expand their after-school program to additional low-income schools around the valley. In Phoenix, Cassidy McDonald, Cronkite News.
It's an element missing from the downtown area, a grocery store. But reporter Amanda Liberto tells us there are plans to fix that.
In the heart of downtown Phoenix this morning, a long-awaited project broke ground. The corner of Washington and First Streets is a dirt parking lot, but now will soon be downtown's first full-service grocery store.
Variety of reasons been that way, but finally we have a developer and Fry's with the courage to do something big, and they're going big.
Stanton and Phoenix officials have been advocating for a grocery store in downtown for a while, but grocery store chains were reluctant to build because the population hasn't been enough to sustain a store. Now, according to a census report in 2014, there are nearly 90,000 people living within a 3-mile radius of downtown Phoenix, and that number is expected to grow to more than 100,000 by 2019.
What is a dirt lot now by early 2019 is going to be a Fry's food store, a retail shop, apartments, and more here in Block 23 in downtown Phoenix.
The developers will get nearly $20 million in incentives. The construction starts today, and Fry's Food Stores hopes to be open by 2019. In downtown Phoenix, Amanda Liberto, Cronkite News.
Now, here's an @Cronkite News Pick of the Week, a favorite from the Cronkite News staff.
Giving middle schoolers cameras doesn't exactly sound like a recipe for fine art, but one group of underprivileged kids was able to put on an exhibit to impress. Reporter Kaylee Nassif takes us there.
Art exhibitions are pretty standard in downtown Phoenix. There's an opening where people view the art and decide if they want to buy a painting or a photo. Maybe they try to talk to the artists and ask them why they decided to follow their creative dream.
The fact that I get to express express myself in different ways, and I get to see different things and imagine and create different things.
Amaya Newman is one of the 30 children who put on this exhibit, all of whom are at risk and live at or below the poverty line. They're part of Kids in Focus, a nonprofit that paired them with professional photographers for a 6-week program. The kids went on field trips to the state capitol, the Phoenix Zoo, and downtown Phoenix, where their mentors taught them the basics of composition and building a photograph. But some of their best pictures were spontaneous.
There's this one, we're just taking photos for fun to get used to it. And it was, I call it the Southwest Slam Dunk because we got an airplane and a basketball hoop, and it looked cool.
For the mentors, the fun came when the students progressed past the basics and started to plan out their photos. The best part for the students was exploring new places and gaining a new skill.
If I go out, I can take selfies, and because some of these moments, I scrapbook.
Participants received books with all of their photos, and some were lucky enough to sell their photographs. In Phoenix, Kaylee Nassif, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News tracks your likes, tweets, and shares from all our social sites to bring you this news special. At Cronkite News, our weekly refresh. Join the conversation so you choose the news. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org for top Arizona stories anytime.